This is Edexcel's GCSE Mathematics Practice Test Set 1, Paper 1H. Question 1. Work out 5.4 times 0.24. Well, for this I'm going to change it to 54 times 24 and just do a basic long multiplication. So 4 times 4 is 16, 6 down carry 1. 4 times 5 is 20, add 1 is 21. Then I'm going to times by the 20, so put 0 down and times by 2. 2 times 4 is 8 and 2 times 5 is 10. Add that up. 6, 9, 2 and 1, so 1296. Now, because I changed the 5.4 to 54, I need to divide that answer by 10, and because I changed the 0.24 to 24, I then need to divide it by 100 as well to change what I've done, so that will give me 1.296. Question 2. The height, h centimetres of a table, is measured as 72 centimetres correct to the nearest centimetre. Give the upper and lower bound of that, so if it's to the nearest centimetre, we'll be able to go half a centimetre either way. So that'll be 71.5 will be the lowest, and 72.5 will be the highest that could be. Question 3. Jane has a carton of orange juice. The carton is in the shape of a cuboid. The depth of the orange juice is just 8 centimetres. So the carton isn't full, it is just up to 8 centimetres. Jane closes the carton and she turns it on its side so that the shaded face is face down. Work out the depth of the orange juice now. Well, if it's closed, we're not going to spill any, so the volume will be the same. So work out the volume of what we've got at the minute. That will be 8 times 6 times 10 for the volume of that liquid, which is going to be 480 centimetres cubed. When I turn that carton on its side, the base will now be 6 by 20. And we don't know the height of what the juice will be at, so that's what we're trying to work out, but it will still have a volume of 480. So 6 times 20 is 120, times h will give me 480, so to work out h I just do 480 divided by 120, which will give me h to be 4 centimetres. Question 4. Write the following numbers in order of size, starting with the smallest. Well, first things first, I'm going to put them all as ordinary numbers, so 0.038 times 10 to the power of 2 will give me 3.8. Second one will give me 0.38 because you divide by 10 4 times. 380 is just 380, and then the last one will be 0.038. So to put those in order, the smallest will be 0.38 times 10 to the minus 1. Then it will be 3,800 times 10 to the minus 4. Then it will be 0.038 times 10 to the 2. And then finally 380 will be the biggest. Question 5. Translate the shape by the vector 5 minus 2. The 5 needs to go 5 right, and the 2 needs to go 2 down. So the top number is always left and right, where left will be negative and right will be positive, and the bottom number is up and down, where up is positive and down is negative. So we're going to go 5 right and 2 down. So I'll take a corner, and that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 2 down. That corner will go to there. They could just redraw the shape in the same size as shape. So we'll go to there. Part B, it says describe fully the single transformation that maps A onto B. Well, the shape has been rotated, so the first mark is for writing the word rotation or rotated. It has been rotated 180 degrees, and it's about the point 0, 1. So we can see, the best way to find that is by using tracing paper, but if you can do that by eye, that's brilliant as well, so it's about 0, 1. Question 6a, simplify x plus 2 squared over x plus 2. Well, all that means is x plus 2 times x plus 2, and then divided by x plus 2. So if you're timesing by x plus 2 and dividing by x plus 2, they will cancel out, and you'll be left with just 1 x plus 2. Simplify that, what we'll do, 2 times 3 is 6. A squared times a cubed would be a to the power 5, and b times b would be b squared. Question 7. Talil is going to make a concrete mix. He needs to mix the cement and sand in the gravel in the ratio 1 to 3 to 5, and he wants to make 180 kilograms. He's only got 15 kilograms of cement, 85 kilograms of sand, and 100 kilograms of gravel. Does he have enough? Well, first of all, if we look at this ratio, there are 9 parts in this ratio, so if he wants to make 180 kilograms, each part will be 20 kilograms each. So that means he needs 20 kilograms of cement, he will need 60 kilograms, so 3 times 20 of the sand, and he will need 100 kilograms, or 5 times 20 of the gravel. So as we can see here, he's only got 15 kilograms of cement, so he doesn't have enough of that. He does have enough of that, and he's just got enough of that. So the answer is no, he can't. He doesn't have enough cement. Question 8. Sue has a full 600ml bottle of wallpaper remover, and she's going to mix some of the wallpaper remover with water, and that's the information about to mix it. She's going to mix it with only 750ml of water. So she's got a 600ml bottle, and it says mix a quarter of the bottle with 4,500 millilitres. So first of all, a quarter of 600 would be 600 divided by 4, which is 150 millilitres. So we should mix 150 millilitres of remover with 4,500 millilitres of water. If she's only going to use 750 mils, then if we do 4,500 divided by 750, we'll see that that goes in 6 times. So we need to divide the amount we use by 6. So if we do 150 divided by 6, that gives us 25 millilitres. Question 9. That's some information. Draw a frequency polygon. So a frequency polygon is where we plot the midpoint of the group with the frequency. So 0 to 4, we want to be plotting at 2 and 8. 5 to 9, we want to be plotting at 7 and then going up to 11. Between 10 and 14, we want to be plotting at 12 as the midpoint of the group, up to 9. The next group is at 17, and we'll plot at 14, which will be there. And then the last group is at 22 and 18, which would be there. With a frequency polygon, you join them up with straight lines. So using a ruler and pencil, you join each one up with straight lines. It says, write down the class interval, sorry, I missed out part here. Write down the class interval containing the median. So the median is the middle number. So it tells us there are 60 students in this class. So if there are 60 students, the middle person will be the 30th person. So there are 8 people in there, plus 11 gives me up to 19, plus another 9 gets me up to 28. So the 30th person and the 31st person will be in that group there. So the middle person will actually be in the 15 to 19 group. Question 10. Make Q the subject of the formula. To do this one, we want to expand the brackets because we don't have brackets or fractions when we're changing the subject of a formula. So first things first, I'm going to expand the brackets, and that'll give me 5Q plus 5P equals 4 plus 8P. I then want to get all the Q's on the same side, so I'll just take the P's on the other side to leave the Q on its own. So 5Q is equal to 4 plus, and we want to take 5 P's off both sides, so that'll be 3P. And then divide by 5, I get Q equals 4 plus 3P over 5. Question 11, expand and simplify x minus 3, x plus 5. Well, if I use FOIL, the first ones will be x times x, which is x squared. The outsides will be x times 5, which will be plus 5x's. Insides, minus 3 times x is minus 3x. And then the lasts will be minus 3 times 5 will give us minus 15. If I put all that together, we'll have x squared plus 2x's minus 15. Solve x squared plus 8x minus 9 equals 0. So it's a non-calculator paper, so we need to factorise that. So it's going to factorise it to 2 sets of brackets. We need 2 numbers that times together to give minus 9 and add together to give 8. So that'll be plus 9 and minus 1. So 9 times minus 1 is minus 9. And 9 plus minus 1 is 8. We can check that with FOIL if you want to expand it out again, but that works. So to solve that then, we need to make the first bracket equal to 0. So x would be minus 9 to make the first bracket 0, or x would be 1 to make the second bracket 0. Solve the inequality 3t plus 1 is less than t plus 12. Just solve this in the same way as a normal equation. Take the smallest amount of t's off both sides. So you get 2t plus 1 is less than 12. I then want to take 1 off both sides, so I get 2t is less than 11, and then divide by t t is less than 5.5. It says t is a whole number, write down the largest value of t that satisfies that inequality. Well, if t has got to be less than 5.5, the next whole number that's less than that would just be 5. Question 13. The distance from Fulbeck to Granby is 10 miles and the distance from Granby to Horton is 18 miles. Raksha is going to drive from Fulbeck to Granby, and she then travels from Granby to Horton. She leaves at 10 o'clock and she drives from Fulbeck to Granby at an average speed of 40 miles an hour, and she wants to get to Horton by 10:35. So what we need to do here is figure out how long it takes her to do this. So if she's doing it 40 miles per hour, then to do 10 miles, we could just divide that by 4. So an hour divided by 4 will give us 15 minutes. So it takes her 15 minutes to do that first journey. So she gets at Granby at 10:15. That means she's got 20 minutes to get to there for 10:35. So if she's got to cover 18 miles in 20 minutes, then to get the speed, we want that in hours. So an hour would be 60 minutes. So if I times that by 3, then 18 times by 3 is 54 miles you could cover in 1 hour. So that must be 54 miles per hour to cover the 18 miles in 20 minutes. Question 14. M is directly proportional to L cubed. When L is 2, M is 160. Find the value of M when L is 3. So to start off with, we can write that M is directly proportional to L cubed. We then put in the constant of proportionality. So M is equal to KL cubed. We can substitute our values in, so we get 160 is equal to K times 2 cubed. So we put 160 in for M and 2 for L. 2 cubed is 8, so if we do 160 divided by 8, we get that K is 20. That means we could put that into this formula here, so we get M equals 20 L cubed is our formula. Once we've got that, we can use that to work out any values that we want. So if L is 3, we've got to work out M. We'll just do 20 times 3 cubed. Well, 3 cubed is 27. So 20 times 27 is 540. Question 15. The incomplete histogram table gives information about the distances some teachers travel to school. Complete the histogram. So to complete the histogram, we need to work out the frequency density because we've not got a scale on the side here. So if we look at the first bar and the first point in the table, they are both filled in for us. So this one is 5 wide, and to work out the frequency density, we do the frequency divided by the class width. So 15 divided by 5 would give us 3 for the frequency density of the first one. So this one has got a height of 3. That means we've got the scale now. If there's 3, we can say that 2 is there and 1 is there, and we've got our scale. The second bar is 20 divided by 5 again, because the class width of that is 5. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. And we can see that the bar is 4 tall, so our frequency density is working. The third bar is 2.5 tall. So if we've got a frequency density of 2.5, we will times that by the class width, which is 10. So 2.5 times 10 will give me a frequency of 25. The third bar is 0.8 tall, so has a frequency density of 0.8 and is 20 wide. So 0.8 times 20 would give me 16 for the frequency. And then the last bar is got a frequency of 10 and a width of 20. So 10 divided by 20 is 0.5. So we want to go up to 0.5 and fill in our last bar. Question 16. Write down the value of 49 to the power of a half. Well, to the power of a half just means find the square root of 49, which is 7. This is actually a misprint here. That should say the square root of 45. So write the square root of 45 in the form k square root 5. So we want to simplify 45 to be 9 times 5. The reason I've chosen 9 is because 9 is a square number and we can square root that. So the square root of 9 is 3. So it'll just be 3 root 5. Question 17. Prove algebraically that 0.045 can be simplified to 1 over 22. Well, to find a fraction from a decimal, we want 2 decimals that have the same decimal places. So at the minute we've got a 0 there, which we don't want. So first of all I'm going to times it by 10 to give me 0.45 recurring. And then I'm going to times that by 100 to get these two digits over to the other side. So if I times that by 100x, I get 1000x, and that will give me 45.45. I can then take those away from each other, and I get 990x equals 45. So x will be 45 over 990, which cancels down to 1 over 22. Question 18, enlarge a shape by a scale factor minus 1.5 with centre 0,4. So first of all, centre 0,4 is there. A negative scale factor means you just go in the opposite direction. So if I choose this corner here first, to get to that corner I go 2 right and 2 up. If I multiply that by 1.5, that'd be 3 and 3, and I go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to go 3 left and 3 down to here. So that point would actually go to there. This corner is 2 right and 2 down, so I'm going to go 3 left and 3 up, so that will go to there. And this corner is 2 down and 4 across, so that would be 3 up and 6 across to there. And that is where our new shape would be. Question 19. There are 3 different types of sandwiches on a shelf: 4 eggs, 5 cheese and 2 ham. Erin takes 2 sandwiches at random, work out probability of getting 2 different types of sandwich. So, the different possible outcomes are egg and cheese, or egg and ham. We can have cheese and egg, or cheese and ham. Or we could have ham and egg, or ham and cheese. So those are the 6 different possible outcomes where we get different sandwiches. Probability of getting egg and cheese would be 4 out of 11 for the egg and 5 out of 10 because we've now taken 1 out from the previous one for the cheese. So that would give me 20 over 110. This one would be 4 11ths times 2 tenths, which would give me 8 over 110. This one would be 5 11ths times 4 tenths, which would give me 20 over 110. This one would be 5 over 11 times 2 over 10, which is 10 over 110. This one is 2 over 11 times 4 over 10, which will give me 8 over 110. And this one would be 2 over 11 times 5 over 10, which will give me 10 over 110. And because we're not bothered which one of those we want, we can add all those probabilities together, and that should give us 76 out of 110. Which cancels down to 38 out of 55. Question 20. A is the point minus 2, 0. B is the point 0, 4. And C is the point 5 minus 1. Find the equation of the line that passes through C and is perpendicular to AB. Well, if we want to know a line that's perpendicular to AB, we first of all need the gradient of AB. So if this is at 0, 4, and this is at 0 minus 2, 0, then the height there must be 4 and that there must be 2. So the gradient of this line here must be 2, 4 divided by 2, the difference in y divided by the difference in x. So the difference in y divided by the difference in x, which will be 2. To be perpendicular to that, it must have the negative reciprocal gradient. So our line will be the negative reciprocal gradient of that line. So it'll be y equals minus a half x, and then plus or minus a number on the end. Now we need to work out what the number on the end is so that it passes through C. So if we put these values for C in, it tells us that when x is 5, y is minus 1. So if I do minus 1 equals minus a half times 5 plus or minus some number on the end. Well, minus a half times 5 is minus 2.5. So to get an answer of minus 1, I need to add to that 1.5. So C must be 1.5. So my final equation would be y equals minus a half x plus 1.5 or 1.5. Question 21. Construct the graph of x squared plus y squared equals 9. This is an equation that you should recognise because it is the equation of a circle. So the circle has a radius of the square root of that. So the radius will be 3. So if I move my compass to the centre, it will always have a centre 3, and put it as a radius of 3, then draw my circle all the way around. That is where my circle should be. It then says, by drawing the line x plus y equals 1 on the grid, solve the equations x squared plus y squared equals 9 and x plus y equals 1. Well, to get the line x plus y equals 1, that means we need coordinates where x plus y is 1. So if we went through 1 and 1, and obviously carry that on all the way down here, and also, again, we will carry on the other way, all the way up here. That's where our line would be, as straight and as accurate as you possibly can. The points that we are after is this point here and this point here. So where those two cross are the solutions to our circle. So if we do that really accurately, you would get 2.6 and minus 1.6 for this point here. And then for the other point, we would get minus 1.6 and 2.6. Accuracy is really important. Make sure you use your compass and a sharp pencil. Question 22. Two solid shapes A and B are mathematically similar. Work out the surface area of B if the surface area of A is 80 centimetres squared. Well, the scale factor from 4 to 8 would be times 2 for lengths. You've got to remember that when we work out area, the scale factor would then be squared. So if the smaller one is 80, you would times by 2 squared. So 80 times 4 would be 320 centimetres squared for the larger one. For part B, if we talk about volume, the scale factor will be 2 cubed. Because we went from the larger one to the smaller one, we want to divide. So it'd be 600 divided by 2 cubed. 600 divided by 8 is 75. Question 23. A and D are 2 points on the circumference of a circle. A and B are 2 points on the circumference of a smaller circle. DB and AC are tangents to both circles. E is the intersection of DB and AC, and E is the midpoint of AC. Prove that ABCD is a rectangle. Well, something that we need to know here, the rectangle that we're after is ABCD, and we need to know that a rectangle has equal and bisecting diagonals. So basically, if we could prove that these lines here are of equal length and bisect each other, we could prove that it's a rectangle. So to do that, we just basically need to restate a circle theorem and some of the points that he's given us in the question already. So the first circle theorem we need to use is that where tangents from an external point are equal in length. So we can say that DE is equal to AE. So D here is equal to AE, and also AE is equal to EB, because tangents from an external point are equal in length. And also therefore DE therefore equals EB, doesn't it? Because all those three sides are the same length. The second point that we can say is that AE, so from A to E again, is equal to E to C. And that tells us in the question, because E is the midpoint of AC. It's told us that in the question. Therefore, AE equals DE equals EB, which equals EC. So all those four sections are the same, which must mean that the full side DB would be equal to AC. So it looks like common sense, but you've just got to write it all out in full. And therefore, we've just got to finish off with this statement here. Alright? So therefore, if the diagonals are equal and bisect each other, then it's a quadrilateral. Sorry, then it's a rectangle. So it seems quite obvious once you've done it, but you've just got to state the obvious. A lot of the time it's stating what they've already said in the question, but the key thing you had to know there is that the diagonals of a rectangle bisect each other and are equal in length. So if you knew that, the rest of it comes through from the circle theorems. But you've just got to literally write what you see then.